Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Imagine yourself all alone in the house at night with no lights. You hear a knock on the door and you take your candle and walk to the door with the intent of opening it. As you peep on the peephole at first, you see nothing. And as you keep on looking, you see a walking dead body with no head. If the imagination of it all gave you goosebumps, then prepare to have nightmares. With us are a list of places that will get your adrenaline going, as some will get you killed, if not just a crazy experience. If you're the kind of person who loves discovering fascinating and thrilling places, then this is the perfect place for you. From selling witchcraft ornaments on the streets in Togo to dolls hanging everywhere on trees, here are creepy places you never want to visit. Number 10. Aokigahara Fetish Market, Togo. Forget the fairy tale witches of Disney, this is a bazaar unlike any other. This is the world's largest voodoo market. If you think Haiti is the birthplace of the voodoo religion, then you're wrong. It originated from West Africa and was then brought to the Caribbeans and Haiti by the slaves during the colonial period. Togo is one of the African countries that have strongly kept their voodoo religion and even have the Aokigahara Fetish Market located in their capital, Lome. They sell charms, products of dead animals, fetishes, and magic items that are used in voodoo rituals. The place is very creepy, especially for people not used to such encounters. The people selling at the market know how to convince tourists to buy souvenirs even without wanting them. I mean, what would you do with an ape paw? It's as if they cast a spell on you to buy their things. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. Number 9. Gongjium Psychiatric Hospital. If CNN claimed this place as one of the freakiest places in the world, then it certainly is. Gongjium Psychiatric Hospital, near Gongjium, South Korea, is an abandoned psychiatric hospital that looks like a place from a horror film. A local legendary story claims that the hospital was closed down in the 1990s after patients from the hospital started dying mysteriously. Since then, the hospital has been abandoned and taken for a haunted place. The building has rusted out machines and filthy mattresses that make it creepy to roam around in. Even the locals are afraid of giving directions to the asylum, and no buses and cars are driving to the place. But roughly 1,000 people break in and roam the grounds of Gongjium Psychiatric Hospital every year. The Koreans even decided to release a horror film called Gongjium Haunted Asylum in 2018 that featured the Gongjium Psychiatric Hospital. Number 8. Veijo Ronkin, Finland. If there was ever a weird artist the world came to know, it's Veijo Ronkin. He was born in 1944 and passed away in 2010 before surprising the world with his concrete figures on the grounds of his home in Parikala, Finland. While people's gardens had flowers and types of plants, Veijo's garden had sculptures of people of all ages and ethnicities. At the entrance, tourists are welcomed by the sculptures extending their arms as if welcoming them. Among them is a shirtless man in traditional Finnish dress, a little boy in overalls, a nun, a woman wearing a jaunty sun hat, and a fellow resembling Abe Lincoln sticks his tongue out. They had skeletal body proportions, ghoulish grins, blank sunken eyes, and some even have human teeth, which makes them very creepy. Apart from that, some of them have speakers buried inside their bodies that emit incomprehensible sounds. Imagine hearing concrete figures in yoga positions make such sounds while walking there at night. Years after his death, his masterpiece remains intact, drawing almost 25,000 visitors annually. Number 7. Aokigahara, Japan. The Aokigahara forest is located in Yamanashi Prefecture, along the edge of Mount Fuji, roughly a 2-hour drive west of Tokyo. It is a forest that has itself a reputation as the suicide forest. Ironically, at the entrance of the forest, there's a sign reminding visitors that life is a precious gift from their parents. It goes on and says, please don't suffer alone and first reach out. With the number of suicides carried out in these places reaching more than 100 per year, it seems that these people don't get the memo. When you move about the 30 square kilometer forest, it's unlikely for you to find the dead bodies, since either the police or the wild animals have done their work. According to one Japanese psychiatrist, he said that he had gathered from his interviews of suicide survivors that people who commit suicide in Aokigahara believe that they would be able to die successfully without being noticed. If you're going to visit such a place, I advise you not to visit in your worst state. Life is precious, and we love you. Number 6. Poveglia, Italy. The thought of someone even wanting to step their foot in such a place gives me goosebumps and shows their stupidity in the highest order. It's like being told to step on this and you will go to hell, and someone just does it courageously. The island of Poveglia has said to be the most haunted island in the world. The local people believe in a legend that says the beautiful island is haunted by its eerie past. In the late 1700s, it was used as a quarantine zone for plague sufferers and the patients from the psychiatric hospital that was built in the 1920s. The legend comes about from the story of the people of Poveglia being evacuated to Venice during the year 1378 due to population growth. When the war was over, instead of returning the people home, they abandoned the people of Poveglia until the plague hit Venice and killed many people. It was then declared the Plague Island. Venice people isolated the infected people and let them die on the island. Over 160,000 people died in Poveglia, and the soil is said to be mostly made up of the ash of the burned victims. No one is allowed to visit the island, not even tourists. They don't want a reminder of their past. Number 5. Village of Nagoro, Japan. I'm now starting to think that Japan itself should be on this list. The village of Nagoro is located in the valleys of Shikoku, Japan. This village stands out on its own with its creepiness. It's populated with creepy dolls that look like humans instead of real people. The image of stopping the car to ask for directions and realizing that it's a doll on the pathway is giving me chills down my spine. The place would have remained isolated and forgotten in the world's history as if it never existed. But because of a doll maker, Ayano Tsukimi, who returned home one day and found everyone in the village gone, she became lonely and decided to make lifelike dolls that represented everyone in the village. She had started with her father and thought, why not fill her empty village with dolls? So when you visit Nagoro, don't be scared when you see dolls looking at you at the bus stop, crossing the road, in school, farming, in the supermarkets, and all the normal places that humans can be found. Number 4. The Island of the Dolls, Mexico. If you think the dolls of the village of Nagoro is creepy, then you haven't seen this Island of the Dolls. The island is known as Isla de las Muñecas and is located in the Xochimilco canals outside of Mexico's capital. The place looks like a place out of a horror movie. Surprisingly, no director of horror movies has been interested in shooting his or her film here. It's said that the island was in a normal state until a resident of the place, Don Julian Santana, had a daughter who drowned in the lake. To ease up the pain in his heart and honor his daughter's soul, he did it most weirdly and creepily ever. He started collecting dolls and hanging them up on trees without washing or fixing them. Without realizing it, he made the island a horrifying, doll-infested wonderland. Number 3. Sedlec Ossuary, Czech Republic. If you thought you've seen it all with the Island of Dolls, then you're wrong. There's more to come, including this bone church. Sedlec Ossuary is one of the most unique churches in the world, located in Sedlec, in the suburbs of Kutna Hora, Czech Republic. From the outside, the Roman Catholic Church looks pretty ordinary until you decide to visit the chapel. The first sight of it will send a chill down your spine, accompanied by many questions like, why would a church be decorated with human bones? Well, this story goes back to the 13th century when the abbot of the Sedlec Monastery, Abbot Henry, went on a journey to Jerusalem and brought a handful of earth soil from the grave of the Lord. The soil was then spread on Sedlec Cemetery and made the area the most popular place to be buried. Over 30,000 burials were done on the place, and when it came to the building of the Sedlic Church, the bones were gathered and stacked in pyramids in the ossuary beneath the new building. It was in 1870 that a woodcover came and bleached the carved-out bones and used them to decorate the place. His artist's signature is still on the wall today, and naturally, he used his medium of choice, bone. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in our future videos. Number 2, Ilha de Queimada, Sao Paulo, Brazil. I bet you're looking at this photo and wondering, what's wrong with it? Well, as beautiful as it looks from an aerial view, this island is straight out of a nightmare. It's also called the Snake Island and is completely infested with some of the deadliest snakes in the world. It's a forbidden island in Brazil, located just 20 miles off the coast of Sao Paulo. The snakes are said to have been washed to the island when the sea levels rose and became stranded there. There are at least 4,000 kinds of snakes on the island. If you have a phobia of snakes, don't even dare visit the place unless you want to have a stroke and die. Number 1, the Hill of Crosses, Lithuania. The Hill of Crosses is a popular dark tourism site located about 12 kilometers north of the city of Šiauliai in northern Lithuania. At first glance, you might think it's a cemetery, but that's not the case. The exact origin of it remains a mystery, but there are many legends, one being that a Lithuanian farmer's daughter was extremely ill, and on praying, he had a dream in which a clothed woman in white appeared to him and told him to make a wooden cross and place it on a nearby hill for his daughter to be cured. The following morning, he did all that, and when he returned home, he found his daughter healed. On seeing these, other people went and placed crosses at the hill, hoping for miracles to be granted to them. In 1993, Pope John Paul II visited and declared the hill a place of hope, peace, sacrifice, and love. He then served Mass and named Lithuania the country of crosses.